Great.
That's just bad.
We've got, I think, 4 since yesterday.
I know it's, it is kind of bad.
Slowly.
Slowly.
I call the meeting of Timberville Town Council order July 14, 2022. Please begin the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, everyone got their packets by email or mail or however you received yours. So there we are. First thing we have is the minutes from last meeting. I hope everyone's had a chance to review them. Is there any questions for AC or Melinda on the minutes? If we don't have any, I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Carl. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Clarence. We'll go around the room. Ned? Yes. Sharon?
Yes.
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 Okay. Treasury report. Everyone has a copy of the treasury report and all the account balances. I do know that basically myself and Melinda met this week. I'm going to go ahead and pay up some of the police debt and things like that with the, I'll say it wrong, ARPA funds. Is that right? With the ARPA funds and the last of the excavator bill and all that. So we'll be, some of those will be, some will be going down and some will be going up on what we've spent. So that'll be changing next time. Any questions on the treasury report? Okay. Bills for payment. Everybody has a long list of bills there. You'll notice some of it is the PD being remodeled now, and you'll see some of the stuff being on there for PD remodel and things like that. One of the bigger ones is number 11, where we bought the new pumps for the 2 pump stations, which were $8,000 a pop. So that's that one bigger line item. Anyone else have any questions for on the bills?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Please explain to me again, and this time I will try to remember it.
Okay.
4 electric bills, 2 to Dominion, 2 to Shenandoah Valley Electric. Where?
So, well,
So Shenandoah Valley Electric is for the park. Dominion is for streets.
street.
Street maintenance. The wells,
Right. Is that Shenandoah Valley?
no.
That's Dominion.
That's Dominion. But the way we have to split it up is water, sewer, and then general, depending on which location it is.
Okay.
So you may not have 4 bills, but you guys split it up into the buckets that you use.
The correct
You have to
account.
do it in quadrants.
Yes, yes.
So if I ask again in 2 months, you remember what you told me.
We're going to go back to
I'm
the
gonna
minutes and
pull-
say you won't ask again.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions on the bills? I need a motion. Sharon?
I make a motion, we pay the bills.
Do I have a second? Oh, do you have something, Carl? I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask, number 24, what is that? Or should I ask?
A stop stick.
Yeah.
Thing
A
you-
stop stick's the device they use if they have to stop a vehicle and they take it and throw it across the street, has the spikes on it to blow up the tires.
I'm good.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Manager, our second today. Any further discussion? Go around the room. Ned? Yes.
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 Thank you all. Police report. The chief had some family emergency he had to take care of this afternoon, so he won't be here today. He just wanted to let everyone know a little update. I know we started gathering donations to pay for our police dog program, if you want to call that. And so far in hand, we got $1,451 in donations. We have $3,000 other dollars committed. So right now we got $4,400 either in or committed. And they reached out to several other businesses for grants. So we'll have to see where that goes. So that's going pretty good. I mean, the first check we had to write was, I think, $5,000 down for the dog. It looks like they've raised at least that part so far. The PD, you'll see they're working on the PD. And the siding should be up and done Monday of next week. That should be done. And they've started on the inside. Started to put sheetrock up right now. The electrical's done. So it's coming along. Guys are working on it when they can work on it, but they're getting a lot done. A lot done.
Don, just so you know that the dog is paid for.
Dog is paid for?
Yeah,
Okay.
number 25, yep, it's paid for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, that's right, we got it paid before we get a discount, we got a
Yes.
discount that way.
Paid in full?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Again, the chief is working on getting donations for that. You know, I'm one, I gotta not read Facebook when you post something like that, something that's a great story about wanting to do something for the community as far as getting a canine dog and helping with every town, no matter if you want to admit it or not, has drugs in their town. It's just an environment we live in. And the police wanted to do this, they understood that they've asked for a lot, and they wanted to help raise the money to, you know, take some of that burden off the taxpayers. And I know the notes on thing were saying, what the taxes for? Well, taxes are for that kind of thing, but would you rather someone else pay for it than a taxpayer have to pay for it, no matter how you look at it? But they're doing a great job. I talked to Luke coming in, he's very excited, he's gonna go off for that couple weeks of training. And I think he had a meth bust last night, I think, with someone he pulled over. So it's unfortunately that there's drugs in every community, and we're being proactive in addressing the issue. Okay, I think that's all I have for PD. Anyone have anything else for PD? Yeah.
Since Luke's gonna be in charge of the dogs, he gonna pick a name for it?
I personally think the dog already has a name,
Oh, really?
but the chief won't tell me.
Well, the dog was named to start with when they got it, but I think collectively they're going through and they're gonna come up with a name for the dog. They're kind of, he said that they're going around multiple different options. So.
Okay, so I didn't know that, because he won't tell me a name.
But they haven't officially picked a name for it yet. So.
I was with one organization talking about donations, and they wanted to know the name, because I think once you have a name, but he won't tell me a name yet.
Dog.
Oh, yeah, his dog. Okay, so that's what we have for police. I probably missed something, but those are the things he texted me a few minutes ago. Public Works, AC.
Okay, I've got some other things that are scattered down the agenda for a little bit further, but on the public works side, Chris told me yesterday that the sewer jet is out of commission. They went out to use it, and the hose, it's, I think 500 feet of hose, came apart at where the head goes onto it. So he's ordered new hose for the entire machine. That hose handles typically between 1,800 and 2,200 pounds of pressure. So definitely not something you want flying apart, especially the way that machine's set up. Their controls are right next to where the hose reel is. So if it fell apart at the head, he thought, which I agree with him completely, that it should be, the whole thing should be replaced. It's a safety issue. The hoses have been ordered. I don't know if we have an estimated date on when they'll arrive. It's probably like a lot of other things. It might be a little while. He was going to talk to Broadway and get it lined up with them in case we have an emergency where we need it, that we can just run up get Broadway's machine to use it. So, and that's an old machine. That machine's been here for quite some time. It was here for quite a few years before I started here. So it's probably been here over 20 years, I would guess. And that's a testament to our maintenance crew and how well they maintain the equipment. The backhoe is really old also, and they do just such a great job of keeping maintenance on the equipment that they use for doing the work, all the other infrastructure, the pump stations. Talked to the inspector from the health department when he comes through. He said it's amazing that these pump stations that are that many decades old still look like they do because our guys' attention to detail and keeping them up to date and clean. Today was the first day of training for me for, it's being put on by the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission, and it's about interpreting data, and particularly like census data. I think I sent that out in the memo that we were looking at challenging the census numbers, but based on the criteria of what we can challenge the numbers on, we didn't qualify. At least on certain parts of the information that the Census Bureau has us listed at. So it got to that point after a lot of discussion with the Census Bureau. It was like, okay, well, this is kind of a futile effort, waste of time. There are other things we can be attending to. I put an updated ARPA list at everyone's location. The seat there, it's the biggest piece of paper, and it's broken down into each of the projects. The green projects are the ones that have been completed. And it may not make sense to everybody the way I do it, but the first line is what we budgeted, what council budgeted for each of those projects. The second column, or the third column actually, is the what's been spent to date on the project. The one title component, that is easier way for us to keep track of it, because like the engineering bills coming in from Benoni, they have all of the different water line and sewer line projects lumped together on it. They're broken out on that document, but instead of just putting Benoni engineering in, it's a better way to keep track of what engineering is going towards each of those projects. And then once we finish a project, that's what's in the actual column. So we'll continue to update that. Melinda has a spreadsheet. Melinda has a spreadsheet that she keeps, and then I keep this one, and we reconcile them. Don came in the other day and kind of looked at it real quick. So.
And it's very important because we're going to have to reconcile with the government at some point. Don't we have a report to fill out at some
And it's pretty much
Done.
Oh, that's already done?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only anything additional would be if we would get audited on it.
Okay.
But
And we have all that.
we keep track of all that, and there's no worries there. And the final thing I have under this report is the elections. The deadline for election materials was due back in last month, June 20th or 21st. We have, the mayor is the only individual running for the mayor position, and Sharon and Sarah Berry are the only two individuals running for 3 vacant seats on council. So, you probably pretty good chance you're gonna get back on one. We just don't know who the third seat will go to. Since nobody else is on the ballot, it's kind of left up.
So if nobody runs a write-in campaign, it's only just a couple votes they're on.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
It could be very interesting. Yeah. And I think that's all that I have under this, under that part of the agenda. Unless anybody has any questions for me or anything else.
You got anything in business and industry?
I do.
Okay, I'll just keep moving down.
Okay. Real quick on this one, I think I might have reported on this last month. Walgreens has informed us that they will be closing the old store on Wednesday, July 20th at 3 p.m., which is next Wednesday. And they will be opening the new location the next day, on Thursday, July 21st. Trying to get an update on the property over here. The agents that have listed won't tell me who has the contract on it, but there is a contract. And it's in, last time I talked to him, it was in a study period. I was trying to find out when that contract is, when their study period is up, and I have to make a decision. They said it sounds pretty promising, what they told me, that it will close. And then we'll get to see what goes in and see if any of the rumors that are floating around are actually real.
So you still have no idea?
I have no idea.
No.
The only thing that I've been told is retail.
Okay.
That's a pretty broad
There
category.
are a lot of rumors.
There's a lot of rumors, yeah. That's all I have from business.
So there's so many, one of them's got to be right. Okay, Parks and Rec. The guys are on a little hold on a lot of the park stuff because they're working on the PD. The boat ramp's been approved. So I'm guessing as soon as he's done with the PD, he'll start working on the boat ramp down the park, the kayak launch, or whatever you're going to call it. He met with an electrician one day this week. I don't remember what day it was. They're looking at when we add those new bathrooms. It sounds like we'll need an additional 400 amp service. You know more about that than I do, Ned. We have a 400 amp service there now, but apparently when you add the bathrooms and the possibility of hookups for the food trucks and all that, they need another 400 amp service. So the guy's looking at that to see. There's money left in the money we allocate for parks to do that. We just got to figure out what it is. And we want to do it right, so we're not adding one and adding one and adding one, just add another 400 amp. They said the big thing will be waiting for Virginia Power, the electric company, to get it. I know when Ned did the other one, it was a fairly long wait. Yeah. So that's the things that are going on. So we have the bathrooms budgeted, but we have to do the electrical part first and then the boat ramp, and then we'll have to start, when we get a mower, we'll have to start getting some estimates on the bathrooms.
Well,
and
and-
you looked at a couple things.
Yeah, and so on line 22 of the ARPA spreadsheet there, there's 200,000 allocated towards bathrooms and upgrades. I've applied for a grant from Rockingham County, it's Rockingham County Tourism Grant, and if it's awarded, it's $50,000, and that's what I applied for was to go towards those restroom facilities, because that will definitely help over there. It's kind of hard to have events, as you know, with portable toilets. It doesn't create the best atmosphere. We happen to be talking to our engineer, Carl Schaefer with Benoni, about water and sewer stuff, and started talking about some other things, and it came up about the bathrooms. He said, well, have you ever thought about precast bathrooms? Well, no, really we hadn't got to that point of that close discussion, but basically they're poured, everything's poured at the factory, and they bring it in on some kind of truck and use a crane to set it. The pad they have very detailed guides on how the pad needs to be done, where the plumbing fixtures need to come up and all that, and they just bring this in, take a crane and set it down. I talked to one of my friends who's with Rockingham County, and he said that's what the county did out at the Crossroads Park, that bathroom facility out there is a precast bathroom. And so he told me to contact in Parks and Rec up there that had overseen that, and it was Marco Nor. So I got with Marco, he told me what they went through. And I also reached out to it's a local vendor, they're in Virginia, and they provided me I told them, I had gone on their website and looked at several different models, and they gave me some pricing based on those different models, different sizes, number of stalls and bathrooms and things like that. So what we need to do is probably get the park committee together and sit down and kind of hash out what we really want over there. With what they provided, even the biggest thing with the $50,000, assuming we get that from the county, I think we can get pretty close to doing it for that, for what's budgeted with that grant money, which would be a pretty nice facility. But we need to get the Parks and Rec committee together to sit down and kind of determine, do we want one stall, two stalls, because that all factors into the size of the building and which model you get and things. But you all can look at this after the meeting if you want. They think it's some really nice products that are very tasteful in the way they look. And it would definitely be, we've talked about that to continue on with using the American Legion Park, we definitely have to have some kind of bathroom facility over there. Once we have that, I think the use of that park will definitely increase considerably.
And everybody's recommended block or precast instead of wood, so it will last forever.
It's easier to clean, anything precast or block, you can, as long as it's got a good coating on it, if it's block, you can just spray it down, because a lot of times those facilities can tend to get kind of gross. So the easier they are to clean, the better they'll stay clean.
The works and club things.
Yeah, I had that on here if you want to talk about that.
Andy's, I met with him last month and he started reaching out, and then he had to take a break. He had reached out to the Ruritan Club. And basically what's going on is, as we do these events, our employees are working all week and then they're working all weekend for the events, and we wonder if we could get volunteers to help out. The Ruritan, Rob Lankford visited me this morning and said they had a meeting, and it's in their minutes that they're willing to provide people assistance for the events to help with parking and things like that. So when we start having these events, instead of the guys having to work all the time, or the ladies having to work all the time, the Rurtans will come in and help park and assist as we need, which is what we really need. We need help with that. So they've stepped up. I'll have to get Cecilia to call them and work it out. I don't know if it's too soon for the August one coming up or not. They should have been for the what is that? National Night Out. But we only need a couple people directing traffic, making sure people know where to drive. You always have to do that.
Yeah, with the limited access to that property, it's easy enough to control.
Right. So, again, we're reaching out to different clubs. We just started. Randy again, he's helping out. But again, like I said, he had to take a small break. But once he comes back.
Probably Timberville Rotary Club too. They probably want to know
Yeah,
about
I
it.
talked to the Rotary a little bit.
And I'm gonna be, I'm scheduled to go talk to them on August the 16th. So,
Always small service projects like that.
we should have to bring that up. I'll definitely bring that up during that.
And it's an easy one, you just,
Yep.
you show up, you pay some
No
directions.
planning.
No planning, all that stuff. Okay, that's all I have for Parks and Rec. Anyone else? You said,
That's all that I have.
hey, Carl?
Question.
Yeah.
On the walking trail down to the river park,
Uh-huh.
I haven't been around it. I do good to walking flat ground anyway, but is there plans on having a bench or something halfway around for the old folks to stop and rest? Or
We don't
anything?
have, I never thought about it, well, you surely can get benches, I can have Cecilia, there's money in that budget, we can get Cecilia, get a couple, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I might be able to make it in that case.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if we put a bench in, you can walk it?
Every 100 yards,
Come on, you gotta work out a little bit.
at least halfway.
That's a good idea, and we can, I'll talk to Cecilia, I know she ordered some recently for the park, yeah, that's a great idea, Carl. Are you making a note of that, because I'll forget? Or Melinda's making a note. Yeah, let's just have Cecilia look into that, Melinda, when you see her tomorrow, and have her, I guess probably order two of them, you can put them in thirds.
Okay.
You know, you got a picnic table that Mike's group donated years ago in the front, and then we can just put third to third. Okay, cool. Anything else? Great idea. Finance? Anything for finance?
We're starting to send stuff over to the auditors.
The new auditors?
The new auditors, so
We're well with that,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Good.
it's a little bit different than what we've done for
It's
the
more-
past
it's electronic.
30 years. A lot of electronic submission of stuff instead of them coming in.
Okay.
So,
They will be here though, since it's the first one, they'll be here for like a day or two.
Personnel? Everyone's doing a great job, working hard.
lots going on.
It's hot out there. Plains District Memorial Museum, do you have anything for us, Sharon?
Number of visitors from the 1st of June to the 30th was 92. Total volunteer hours was 150. The membership is 128, and the current exhibit is Timberville Historic District, and to me, it's the best that has ever been. And Heritage Days is September the 18th from 10 to 2.
Awesome.
I've got one, I guess this is probably the best place to do this, but the all-school reunion committee submitted the request to the council to consider a donation to their event. The all-school reunion is that, Sharon?
I don't know.
All of them.
I don't know anything.
August 13th.
August 13th.
Okay, and I have really thought about that. Why do they need money?
Because the caterer costs a lot, for one thing.
Well, but
We're
each,
trying to keep the cost down so that the older folks will come and can come.
well, and I understand that, but to me, our town money is taxpayer money.
That's true.
And not all of our taxpayers went to Timberville
That's true.
School.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true. Yeah, there's been, can I talk?
Yeah, you got here.
There's been talk about, why are we continuing this? And when we've had our meetings, some younger folks have joined the committee, so it seems to be picking up again. Of course, we haven't had anything for 4 years, but it's an every 2-year event, and we're cutting corners everywhere we can. I got the community center for nothing because we pulled out our tax exempt nonprofit status, and we're doing the best we can, but we didn't want to leave the town office out, and we were trying to get underwriters for it so that we can keep the cost down. We're using Donnie Owens as the caterer this year, the pastor at the Baptist Church in Broadway, and his Hummingbird Bistro. So that's the reason.
I was also told that postage and envelopes and stuff like that was expensive for them as well.
You're absolutely right, I'm sorry.
Now, I know what we do at our reunion, if there is someone that has a financial hardship, we make sure they can come.
I think
It
that's-
is enough people
I think that's what they're looking for.
that can pay you know, private people. But, you know, my issue is this is taxpayer money, and not all of these people went to Timberville School. I mean, I don't have an issue, but that's,
I can see what Sharon's saying, but at the same time, I've seen money leave the town, other cities, even out of state for per request, you might say. I remember one time we sent $1 a person somewhere for some weather event that they had or something. And, you know, at that time, I think it was $1,500.
okay, for what now, Carl? I
It was like
didn't-
Hurricane Katrina or something like that.
I can't, yeah, it might have been that one. But, you know, I can see a small amount, nothing extreme, but
Make a motion, see where it goes.
I make a motion, we provide $500.
Okay. We have a motion, to have a second. Gotta have no second.
I'll second.
You can't do right and left hand.
And I second.
Would anyone be willing to do less, or is this dead in the water?
You want to shoot for 250?
Try one more time and see what happens.
250.
Okay, a motion for 250. Do I have a second?
Time to go.
What's that?
I'll second it for 250.
Okay, it's been seconded for 250. Any further discussion? Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got through that one. Okay. We're down to other business. Anything you got on your list, Tracy, we haven't covered?
No, I think I got everything put in there throughout the agenda.
Cover on the table. Then you got anything for us? Sharon?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The people that is on the committee that water the plants, doing an excellent job, and I just can't believe how many comments we get about how pretty they are. And the other thing, it came to my attention this week, a person contacted me, the site issue at 211 and Lone Pine Drive. They cannot see that church has got to cut.
Letters have been sent.
Okay.
And that's one of them. I sent out 4 or 5 letters this week.
Okay,
And that was-
I told them to call the town, but
Yeah.
did they? Well,
Somebody called in about it, I don't know who it was.
and then the lilac trees I saw was cut on Virginia Avenue.
They cut those already then.
Yeah, they cut Virginia Avenue
And
and
Center Street,
Center
okay,
Street.
that was one of the other locations.
Yeah.
And there were a few others around.
It was
Letters went out
two
too, so.
places. Okay.
Casey's been very busy on some resort and stuff like that. A lot of site moves too, for whatever reason. Any other business over here? Okay, then public comment. Mike, you want to go first?
No, I don't.
I have 2 subjects to discuss with you tonight.
Can we get a name and an address?
Oh yeah, sorry, Mike.
Mike Ray, 263 South Main Street.
I'm sorry, I know you well enough that I forgot to ask.
That's all right.
Thank you.
The first subject will be jack brakes. I know that was addressed last month, and AC informed me that there's nothing that really can be done about it. Well, I think there is something that can be done about it. You have Virginia Law 46.2-1156, and it covers the canvas over the load of the dump truck.
Okay,
The canvases don't cover the entire load.
okay,
The jack brakes could constitute an omission of guilt, traveling more than 25 miles an hour, allowing the police to pull them over. Now, do they have a logbook? Well, the law says that they don't need one unless they're 100 miles away from their business. or that they don't plan to return to their business within 12 hours. What time did the man start? That's something for the police to talk to him about.
We still need, but you gotta remember, you have to have probable cause.
Yeah, jack breaks.
But a
How about
jack-
the cover of the load, not covering the
A
load?
cover a load is something to pull them over, that's a
Yeah.
probable cause, but just using J brake isn't, for what we know, a probable cause.
So you have the police department, the fire department, and the ambulances that on rare occasions, we will hear their sirens. But most of the time, they turn them off when they go through the residential area.
Okay.
So why are jack brakes exempt?
I think-
Okay, the police officer, he can pull them over and says, let me see your inspection sticker. How about your mud flaps? How about your tires?
I think you're missing, I understand what you're saying, but probable cause is such a big thing. If you had no probable cause when you stopped that truck,
I
and
understand.
say it's covered, I can't stop them and say, hey, let me see your log and look for a problem, because that's illegal. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I stood in court for those 6 years and watched it.
Okay,
And I know what, you have to have probable cause support. And I would say if you have a truck coming through with it uncovered and that kind of
or the
thing.
cover's not covering the entire
And,
load.
and he's Jake breaking the heck out of it, I'm sure the officers will pull him over because he's got the load uncovered. He can't ride it for a Jake break.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I also heard the same discussion that there's nothing that can be done when I first came here, and we had the smell from the poultry plants.
Okay.
And there was a lady on the council that got involved in it. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that problem pretty well got solved.
It is.
So if the town gets involved in calling these businesses and saying, you know, your driver's using their jack brakes. Now, the jack brake is used so the brakes don't overheat,
Correct.
okay? And then it becomes a maintenance problem. But 25 miles an hour through town,
Oh, I don't, you won't get me arguing that they should be doing it. I think you get some people out there, you get the farm use trucks, and you got a younger guy driving, he just likes hearing the Jake brake. I will not argue that I love hearing Jake brakes. It's just you have to have a legal way of addressing it, and besides hitting them for, I mean, you can't even pull someone over for inspection unless it's 3 months dead, tags unless it's 3 months dead. They took away the right to pull over tinted windows, things hanging from the mirror. It's a long list of all the stuff that police officers could pull someone off over to pursue whatever that's been taken away from Virginia.
I understand
It's
that.
a lot of things. Okay, go ahead.
But the load cover,
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm sure our guys do that.
and the town could call the businesses and say, you know, truck driver Jim likes using his jack brakes in Timberville. Could you talk to him?
And he could tell us truck driver Jim's allowed to, but yeah, we could do something like that.
You know,
Yeah.
Now, Mike, I
the
talked,
smell in the poultry plant got taken care of because the town got involved.
Right. Understand.
and DEQ. I didn't do it all.
No, you didn't, but you're the only one on the council still from that time period.
But now, I talked to VDOT 2 different times, and they told me that positively cannot do anything about the Jake brakes because it is a safety hazard.
Yeah, they can't use it during inclement weather.
Well, they can't, period, I mean, you cannot, you can't do anything about it. And then I said, well, going into Stanton, there is a sign right on the right-hand side of the road. And he said, no, it's not. I said, you want me to send you a picture? Yes, it is. Well, so then they called me back and they said that had been grandfathered in. That's why that sign is there. But it's right in front of a residential neighborhood of very nice houses.
Yeah.
Understood, Mike.
All right. Second subject,
Okay.
American Legion Park.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that it's talking about bathrooms, okay? That's what I'm here to talk about.
Okay.
Why can't we have porta johns out there until we get the building built with bathrooms in?
We have porta johns when we have events. We really have no one using it unless, when we have events, we do have porta johns. We have the, tell me again, National Night Out, we'll have porta johns. When we have events, we'll have porta johns.
Why can't it be out there all the time? So the residents can go out there and use the park. The biggest thing that people don't go out there to use the park is because there's no restroom facilities.
There's really nothing to do there right now either.
You can walk. There's people who take their dogs out there. You know, be surprised what goes on out there.
Yeah, I probably would be.
But kids,
I mean, I sat under the pavilion one day and I was carving a sign,
Uh-huh.
all right? Beating on the table and everything with my chisel and everything. The police pull in. I said, well, they should come over and say, what's going on?
Right.
No, they were more interested in speeders coming down from the school. And I'm going, well, that's kind of strange. They can't see who I am. And they can surely hear my hammer
Okay.
hitting my chisel on the board. Okay? And have you thought about a GoFundMe? I don't go on Facebook,
Right.
but you have a GoFundMe fund for the splash park. Some people might be interested in giving money to the splash park or to the garden area. Specific money going to specific places. A suggestion about it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul, do you have anything tonight?
Not for the record.
Okay. Okay. Thank you everybody for coming. Meeting is adjourned. Oh, you went after my heart.